Whenever people debate black economic struggles, the conversation always circles back to slavery, segregation, and systemic racism. And yeah, those things basically shape where we are today. But if we're keeping it 100, history ain't the only reason for the wealth gap. To really understand why black Americans as a group are still behind economically, we got to look at both external barriers and the internal choices. The past matters, but it does not determine the future. It's about how we respond to what is in front of us. Now, you always hear people say other groups face discrimination and they still made it. And that is true. Jewish immigrants, Irish, Italians, Asians, they all had it rough when they first got here. But over time, they built wealth through education, business, and, strong family structures. Here's where things get tricky, because black folks didn't choose to come here. We started in chains. And even after slavery ended, laws were literally designed to keep us from progressing, like the Jim Crow, the redlining, you name it, right? So even when programs like the GI Bill were handing out money to help people buy homes and go to school, black people were excluded. That set us back a few generations, okay? But here's the flip side. Black economic success has happened before. Look at, they always use Madam C.J. Walker, the first self-made black female millionaire. Look at Black Wall Street in Tulsa before it got burned to the ground. That proves that wealth building isn't impossible, but every time we got close, the system found a way to knock it down. So when you look at this, you have to look at also the black family and what happened there. One of the biggest factors in economic success is a family structure. Back in the civil rights era, most black kids were raised in two-parent households. Fast forward to 2020, and over 70% of black kids are growing up in single-parent homes, mostly with moms holding it down alone. Now, let's be real. Raising kids solo is hard, no matter what race you are. The stats show that children from single-parent households are more likely to struggle financially, academically, and even legally. That is not about race, it's about stability. Some say government welfare programs contributed to this shift. When the system started giving more financial aid to single mothers than married families, it unintentionally made fathers less necessary in the household. And over time, marriage stopped being the cultural standard. What's the solution? We got to rebuild the family structure. That means pushing policies that encourage marriage, educating young people on the importance of strong family units, and making sure that black fathers stay present in their kids' lives. Now, on the education tip, the great equalizer is what I believe Thomas Sowell called it. Education should be the ticket out of poverty, but in too many black neighborhoods, schools are failing the kids. And before anybody jumps to, funding is the reason, let's be clear. Some of these schools get more money than suburban schools and still underperform. The real problem is poor resource management, low standards, and a lack of discipline. Some immigrant communities demand academic excellence from their children. That same mindset can be nurtured into black households. School choice is also a big one. Charter schools, vouchers, private school options could give more black kids a shot at quality education. But teachers, unions, and certain politicians fight against these options because they'd rather protect the system than actually help the kids. Now, this one's going to step on some toes because the work ethic and responsibility has to step up. At the end of the day, hard work, financial literacy, and personal responsibility are key to economic success. Employers don't hire people because of their race. They hire based on skills, reliability, and work ethic. But let's keep it real. Too many folks in the black community have been fed a mindset of victimhood. If the main belief is the system is stopping us, then guess what? People stop trying. Meanwhile, Immigrants come in, they hustle hard, they build generational wealth because they expect to grind for the success. They know it's not going to come to them easily. They understand the enemy per se. We got to shift the culture. Less dependency, more ownership. Instead of waiting for reparations or policy changes, let's focus on building business, investing, and mastering financial literacy. See, systemic barriers are real, but they are not an excuse. Don't get it twisted. Systemic racism is real, but at some point we have to stop acting like it's the only thing standing in our way. Laws have changed. Opportunities exist. There are Black millionaires, business owners, doctors, and CEOs today proving that success is possible. The question is, are we taking full advantage of these opportunities? Wealth isn't just inherited, it's created. Saving, investing, starting businesses, and passing down financial knowledge is how these groups close the gap. It's not about waiting for someone else to fix it. It's about shifting how we move as a culture. See, there's a blueprint for closing this gap. It's not a magic fix for economic inequality, but there are steps that we should be able to take. We need to rebuild these Black families and push for marriage, stable homes, and involve fathers. Improve education with demand better schools, expand school choice, and create an expectation of excellence. Encourage hard work and ownership in this culture, less dependency, more entrepreneurship. We need to reestablish shame and pride in the Black community. Everything should not be tolerated because you have money or you're getting to a bag. We must remain vigilant in our culture and realize that everything isn't good for money. We're turning ourselves into stereotypes of gangsters and sexual objects. This has to stop. We need to teach financial literacy. Saving, investing, and generational wealth should be the normal conversation. Life insurance. Okay, that's a basic. At the end of the day, success isn't about what happened to us. It's about what we can do next. The past is real, but so is the power to change the future. I want y'all to think about that. If you like what I said, make sure you like and subscribe. If you didn't, make sure you comment below and let me know what you think about that. Once again, this is Murph Almighty with Blacklight TV. Make sure y'all tune in to Never Too Much Podcast. Until next time, guys. Peace.